Speaking of electric cars, that's a great segue into Elon Musk.
Yep.
The CEO of Tesla. And I see more Teslas on the road than ever before. I was driving home from Calgary and I saw 2 on the highway too. But he's got a tweet wherein he said that George Soros, sinister progressive left-wing billionaire George Soros, who undermines public safety and all manner of things through his support of far left-wing prosecutors in the United States. He said that Soros reminds him of Magneto. David, for grown-ups like me who don't know who Magneto is, tell us who that is.
Oh, well, Magneto, once upon a time, would have been the arch enemy of the X-Men. He is a mutant himself. He controls anything that is magnetic. But, you know, more recently, I believe Magneto has moved from an actual arch villain to sort of an anti-hero. So I'm offended by Elon Musk's tweet. If you want to have a villain, how about Galactus? That's your George Soros. Galactus is always on the prowl to consume planet Earth, literally consume it. He's a planet eater. His former herald being the Silver Surfer, as you well know, Sheila, Gunn, Reid. But George Soros seems to want to consume the planet with vile propaganda. He hasn't come across a left-wing cause that he didn't want to fund by the tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars. So yeah, I think Elon Musk is going soft on George Soros by comparing him to the master of magnetism. I say he's more of a Galactus figure.
Yeah, and you know, lefties immediately called out Elon Musk for saying, you know, like, you're being unfair, you're possibly being anti-Semitic because yeah. Well, and that's the big shut up is once you say like, yeah, George Soros is this progressive billionaire that undermines public safety and the economy everywhere he goes. He's played a serious role in degrading the major cities in the United States because he sort of has these Soros-backed prosecutors who are soft in crime and don't, you know, there's no broken window policing, as they said in New York. And so you end up with just a spiral of decay and chaos in these cities. And he is directly related to that downfall. And if you point that out, they say, you can't be critical of him. That's being anti-Semitic. And it's like, I didn't say anything about his religion. I don't care about his religion. It wouldn't matter what his religion is, but that's the shut up with George Soros. Is when you say Soros-backed, what you mean is you hate the Jews. Apparently, that's what the other side has to say about this.
But Sheila, I'm reading this tweet that we've got on the screen right now.
Oh, from
Soros,
Krasenstein.
Also a Holocaust survivor. If memory serves, didn't George Soros during the war rat out Jews? So far from being a Holocaust survivor, he was kind of a contributor to the Holocaust.
Yeah, I think you have to be very, very careful about how you phrase what he did during the Holocaust. But his defenders would say he did certain things so that he could survive the Holocaust, and that included pointing fingers in other directions from himself. So I'm not sure if a lot of people would engage in that form of self-preservation. He did ultimately, and then went on to be very wealthy. And then anyways, the Krasenstein says, Soros gets attacked nonstop for his good intentions, which some Americans think are bad merely because they disagree with his political affiliations. I don't think that's why. I think it has nothing to do with his political affiliations, but more the outcome of his good intentions, which so often we see progressive policies cloaked as benevolence and kindness for your fellow man by letting them out on bail so that they can rob you blind and knife your children.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I, again, you know, isn't it amazing, Sheila, we were talking about your EV t-shirt earlier in a jocular way, but Elon Musk was such a darling of the left just 2 years ago. He was making these carbon free vehicles. He was part of the EV revolution. In fact, I would say jump-started it by maybe 2 decades, Sheila, because without the success of Tesla and the popularity, I don't think you'd see the mainstream automakers going that route. Of course, now they're being legislated to go that route, but that's a different discussion. And I mean, you know, there's a Tesla. I always see it around the Avenue Road St. Clair area, and I always think of you when I see it, Sheila, because I can just see you flipping your lid. It has a vanity license plate, and it reads RIP Oil. Probably not understanding that there's a Tesla factory that needs lots of oil to make those cars, as opposed to fairy dust.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? You know that somebody on the left that hates fossil fuels, that is right into the whole big reset. And once Elon Musk became a champion for free speech, the left went, what? Free speech? Yeah. What is this? You know, so I just can't help but notice the perverse irony at play here.
Oh, they just hate that there's like one billionaire on our side.
Yeah.
like just one.
Yeah,
I think maybe Peter Thiel, but he's sort of more quiet. This, like, Elon Musk bought and probably overpaid for a social media platform that is still at risk of going bankrupt and going completely defunct, just to prove a point about how he is convicted to free speech.
Yeah.
You know, and they're just mad that we have one billionaire on our side, and they have all of these billionaires that are meddling in politics and shaping the social fabric of the United States. And this other billionaire is just like, I just want you guys to have your say. Wouldn't that be cool? They hate him. They viscerally hate him. We have a video of Elon Musk being asked about his tweet saying that George Soros reminds him of Magneto. This should be good.
But how do you make a choice? You don't see, I mean, in terms of when you're going to engage. I mean, for example, even today, Elon, you tweeted this thing about George Soros. Well, I'm looking for it because I want to make sure I quote it properly. But I mean, you know what you wrote. But you basically.
I said it reminds me of Magneto. This is like, you know, calm down, people. This is not like made a case out of it.
You also you said he wants to erode the very fabric of civilization, and Soros hates humanity. Like, when you do something like that, do you
I think that's true. That's my opinion.
Okay, but why share it? Why share it? Especially, I mean, why share it when people who buy Teslas may not agree with you, advertisers on Twitter may not agree with you? Why not just say, hey, I think this. You can tell me. We can talk about it over there. You can tell your friends. But why share it widely?
I mean, this is freedom of speech. I'm allowed to say what I want.
You absolutely are. But I'm trying to understand why you do, because you have to know it's got it puts you in the middle of the partisan divide in the country. It makes you a lightning rod for criticism. I mean, do you like that? You know, people today saying he's an anti-Semite. I don't think you are.
No, I'm definitely. I'm like a pro-Semite, if anything.
I believe that probably is the case.
Yes.
But why would you even introduce the idea then that would be the case?
I mean, listen, we don't want to make this a George Soros interview.
No, God, no. I don't want to at all. But what I'm trying, even came up though in the annual meeting. I mean, you know, do your tweets hurt the company? Are there Tesla owners who say, I don't agree with his political position because, and I know it because he shares so much of it? Or are there advertisers on Twitter that Linda Yaccarino will come and say, you got to stop, man. Or, you know, I can't get these ads because of some of the things you tweet.
Oh, is that the end of the clip?
No, I think he's thinking.
You know, I'm reminded of there's a scene in The Princess Bride. Great movie.
Great movie.
Where he confronts the person who killed his father. And he says, offer me money. Offer me power. I don't care.
So you just don't care. You want to share what you have to say.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
Okay.
Wow. Sheila, if I may jump in first, because that
Please.
reporter is out to lunch. He seems not willing to accept the answers Elon Musk is giving him. This is his opinion. He believes in freedom of speech. He will say what he wants to say. These are all Elon Musk's quote, but there was one really telling giveaway in terms of what that reporter with CNBC said, and that was, what if advertisers might not agree with you? Sheila, since I've come up through journalism school, I can tell you there is a deep separation of church and state when it comes to editorial and advertising. He's a reporter. He's editorial. He shouldn't give a tinker's damn about what advertisers think. He's there to tell a story, pro, con, or neutral. So, or is maybe CNBC, Sheila, maybe they are very advertiser focused in their reporting? You know, we wouldn't want to say anything bad about Pfizer in our reporting of the pandemic, you know, because look how many millions of dollars Pfizer is contributing to our network. This guy, as far as I can tell, is a journalistic whore. There's no other way to say it politely. That's my thoughts. What are yours, Sheila?
Yeah, isn't that interesting? That guy just told us a little bit about the inner workings of major news corporations. Yep. That maybe the advertisers aren't going to like what we say, so we're just not going to say them. That's what he expected Twitter to do, and Twitter, for all intents and purposes, is a publisher at this point. Yep. It's funny to see how outraged they are. So first of all, he says, people might think that you're anti-Semitic, and he's, you know, Elon Musk said, I'm pro-Semitic, or I guess the right word is a philo-Semite. And the journalist says, well, why would you bring it up? But he didn't. You did.
Yeah.
Like you did. He didn't say anything about George Soros being Jewish. You guys did. But again, how outraged these people are that someone dare speak their mind on a platform they paid, what was it, nearly $50 billion for? If he bought the platform for $50 billion, he could tweet whatever the hell he wants. And that's the whole point of him buying it, is so that he can tweet what he wants and we can tweet what we want. But how frightened they are that there is a counterbalance to the likes of Bud Light, Miller Lite, Nike, Hershey's, all these companies that are just woke. And you have to put up with it. And they don't care what you think as a consumer. They literally don't care. They just barf their politics out onto you. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, you can go somewhere else. And that's sort of the free market. But when it works on the other side, they don't like it one bit. Especially, I mean, what a great example today is. It's the day against transphobia, homophobia, biphobia, whatever. All the major corporations are going to self-flagellate on the internet.
Yep.
About how they're against this. And we're like, we know you had a rainbow can last summer for 3 months. We know you're against it. Stop. It's going to be like that all day today. It's going to be insufferable on the internet. And that's fine. But if you have one billionaire who tweets whatever he feels like, they lose their minds. That's a clip from something we call Rebel News Daily. It's our daily live stream hosted by my friend David Menzies, but the show also includes a rotating cast of hosts and special guests, including me. It's a great way for us to talk about the news of the day as the news is happening in an unscripted fashion, and it's an awesome way for you to interact with us as well. We stream every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain, wherever you find Rebel News. See you there.